Have you ever tracked into your amp sim, dialing in the perfect tones, just to hit record and then realize afterwards in the mix that everything kind of sounds fake and thin and bad? Then you end up spending ages mixing and adding more elements to make it sound full, kind of just wishing that you got it right in the first place. Well, today I'm going to show you how to fix that so you can sound better, work better, and feel better. Let's get into it. So why do your guitars sound fake? You spend a ton of money on all the amp sims, AmpliTube, Neural DSP, all that stuff. But when you get into the mix, something's just off. Well, to figure that out, let's look at how guitars are recorded in studio. You've got a microphone or two, you've got the amp or two, and you've got the room. Okay, cool. So let's dive into the amp sim. Well, you've got an amp. That makes sense. You've got microphones you can probably choose from. Cool. But do you have a room reverb? And if you do, are you using it? A huge part of a guitar tone is the room reflections of the room that it's in. And your amp sim might actually have options for that. Some of the archetype amps from Neural DSP certainly do. AmpliTube 5 certainly does. So don't be afraid to bake that reverb into your playing. Think about it. Even when you're recording guitars in studio, you're still going to pick up room reflections with that microphone. There's not really a possibility where you just record the output from an amp completely dry with no reverb. So make sure you use a room reverb. But hey, you might be using some room reverb, but your guitars just don't sound powerful. They just don't sound big. Well, sure. To fix that, let's take a step away and look at something that is kind of seemingly random, like art. Let's look at Starry Night by Vincent van Gogh. Look at all those colors and shades and contrast and information. Cool, now let's take that out. Why does it look so bad? Well, obviously because we took all the complementary areas out of that painting. Now, we'll tie this into sound. We'll just translate this into like a frequency spectrum. Here's our thin painting, and here's our full painting. There's a lot more information in our full painting. Why? Well, because there's layers. There's parts that complement main parts. So let's add some complementary parts to these two guitars. First, we'll take these two guitar parts and we'll double track them. Well, I guess quad tracking them at that point because there's 4 guitar parts now playing the exact same thing. Now let's add different parts, like different chord inversions and melodies. And there we go. Now the guitars are huge and full. So there you go. That's how you add depth and fullness to your guitars. But what if your tones aren't good? Well, stacking up a bunch of bad tones will just make your mix sound horrible. So if you want to learn how to get good tones, check out this video where I go over how to make good tones in amp sims. All right, cool. Thanks for watching. Hope you learned something. Goodbye.